Hello and welcome to our webinar, Health and Social Care, Where Will It Take Me? My name is McLean. I work in the marketing team here at the University of Derby, and I'm joined by Carl and Helen, who are lecturers on the Health and Social Care course. And they'll be talking a bit more about the course and career outcomes. Towards the end of the session, we'll also be doing a Q&A to answer health and social care questions as well. So I will now pass over to Carl.
Thanks again, and welcome to everyone watching. My name is Carl Bridges. I'm one of the lecturers on the Health and Social Care programme. And Helen, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, hi, I'm Helen Morgan, and I'm one of the lecturers on the Health and Social Care programme as well.
Thank you. So we'll talk a little bit more about ourselves and the team as we go on. But just to get you started and so you know what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be looking at a little bit about the university, about your experience studying with us. We're going to give a brief overview of the programme, the kind of things you're going to be studying, just to see if it's the right course for you, really. And we're also going to be talking about elements that are quite unique to our programme, such as placements, and then we're going to look at the outcome. So that means once you've got your qualification with us, where might that take you career-wise? Because that is essentially one of the most important things of studying with us. So, as the title here, it's the BA Hons Health and Social Care programme. We are lucky to be in a university that has a lot of good awards. As you can see on the screen, I won't go through them all, but we've won awards for quality teaching. We have a high rankings in student satisfaction. I mentioned a moment ago about graduate outcomes, which is you having a job at the end of it. We're quite proud that 96% of our students are in employment or future study, and that's really important to us because it's a measure of our success. Our halls are always very highly rated and voted one of the best in the country. We have great transport links. They're really central to the city of Derby if you do come and stay in the halls. In fact, the university we have a bus system that takes you around the city, and that's really, really good to use. And we're also always involved in research, and that's not just a case of other random people around the university doing research. We do involve students in that as well. There's opportunities for you to get involved. Things like at the moment, we're about to publish as a discipline a book that our students have helped write with some of the lecturers, so that's really prestigious for us, and it's and for the students doing it as well. And we are the top 10 student satisfaction in health studies, and again in social care and social work elements. On top of this, the staff on our programme have been nominated by the students for this year for Lecturer of the Year Awards and Personal Academic Tutor of the Year Awards. So that's really, really proud reflection of our teaching, and telling you this so you have an idea of what you're going to get, and the fact that it's the student voice that matters, it's you that matters, and the students, hopefully you in the future watching this, are saying that we're getting it right, which is really important to us. So, Helen, would you like to go with this?
Yeah, okay. So I'd like to go on to talk to you about the qualifications that you need to come onto the programme and what that involves and what that might look like. So, as Carl's already said, it's a BA with honours in health and social care. So it's a full-time course over 3 years, based at the Kedleston Road campus in Derby. So to come onto the programme, you need, we're looking for between 104 and 120 UCAS points. And I'll come back to that in a minute. So if you're studying A-levels, we're looking for a BCC or 3 Bs, a T-level, then a merit, or a BTEC, then a DMM. What we do ask is that you've got a GCSE English qualification at grade 4 in English language, that's equivalent to a C, or that you've got a functional English qualification at level 2, and you can study the programme with a foundation year. We also welcome students who haven't got UCAS points but are mature students. So if you're a student over the age of 21 and you're working in a health and social care setting, and working sort of at a level 3 or above, and you've got that English qualification, remembering that that can be a functional skill, then we'd certainly look at your application and welcome you onto the programme. So what you'd bring to us is all that experience that you've got working in health and social care. And that might be important if you're looking to enhance your career in health and social care, or you're looking at going on to do some postgraduate studies, perhaps in nursing or social work. So we believe that this degree, our degree, is perfect for students who want to follow their passions working with people, but might not be quite sure about what area that they want to go into. So you might be really confident that it's health and social care you want to follow, but not sure if you'd like to be a nurse, whether that's a general nurse, a paediatric nurse, or a mental health nurse, or whether you'd like to be a social worker, a youth worker, an occupational therapist, a radiographer, a teacher, a whole list of careers that are based around health and social care. Okay, so the best bits of our programme. So we prepare you for a career where you can plan and deliver health and social care services which are fit for the future. So our programme's just gone through a revalidation process, which means it's just been rewritten. So it's bang up to date with all the policies and procedures and the new things that have come in. And a lot of that is following the pandemic. So at the moment in the UK, we're looking for versatile, adaptable and skills in health and social care within those professionals, and they're very much in demand. So there's lots of changes taking place at the moment in the world of health and social care. Some of them you might have seen and read about, and we're hoping that we're in a position to be able to train you to be able to meet those demands. What we allow you to do is to put the theory that you learn with us into practice with work placements in different settings, and they range from care homes to community projects. So we're the only health and social care degree in the UK that offers 2 placements. You'll be joining a course that's designed in partnership with experts from the field of health and social care. And as I said earlier, that's ensuring that your studies are up to date and they're relevant. So we work quite closely with different organisations, including the NHS, social services, the county council, and ask what they'd like to see in health and social care professionals. So we're also able to draw on our strong professional links, and we benefit from guest lecturers coming in. So from the whole field of health and social care, they come in to talk to our students, to deliver lectures, as well as you doing fact-finding visits and lots of networking opportunities. We also believe that you'll be inspired by our friendly and supportive teaching staff, who between us, we have a whole wealth of experience in health and social care. And that means that you're able to make the most of the exceptional learning facilities that we've got at the university and out in practice.
And that's something that, talking about having guest lecturers in, we've had reflected quite strongly this year from our current stage 1 first year cohort. We've had a lot of guest lecturers in, and they've said it's really helped them get an idea of what other professionals do. So having play therapist, social worker, and other external professionals coming in, really helps them see, and I want to be that, and that's a really great feeling to have for the students and to watch.
So I briefly mentioned the facilities that we've got at the university. So on campus, then there's different areas within the site that we can use. So if you're seeing that picture, we've got a picture there of the forensic training house, which can be set up to, as you can see, representing somebody's living room. It can also be made into a bedroom or an office, so as you can sort of experience those health and social care situations. As well as that, then we also use some experts by experience. So we have a team of people at the university who are living with various health conditions, or who have experienced needing health and social care professionals to support them with daily life. So they come in as well into our lectures, deliver lectures, support, so as you can get a real life experience from talking to those people. Okay, so we're going to go on to talk to you about who will teach you, what you'll cover, how you will learn, and some information about the course modules. Before we do that, then you'll see this is a picture of the health and social care teaching team. So this was taken when we were at graduation. So we went to graduation, which takes place at the Velodrome in Derby. And we all wear our own cap and gowns, feeling very proud of our students as you walk across the stage. You can see we're having a great time.
Yeah, it's one of the best days of the year, isn't it? Just that, watching the achievement, watching people hold their heads high and walk over that stage with their qualifications while people
Absolutely.
watch on. It's a wonderful day.
Absolutely. So as you've seen in that picture, we're a team of 6 academics, and between us then our teaching team is made up of professionally qualified health and social care experts. Many of us are still involved in professional practice, so we come from different backgrounds. That includes nursing, so myself, I was a general nurse, we've got a mental health nurse, healthcare practitioners, youth workers, social workers, and a counsellor. So between us, we've got that industrial background that we can bring to our lectures. So we really sort of offer a multidisciplinary approach when we're talking about health and social care. And that also provides the opportunity for you to learn about a variety of career options as well. And while you're on the programme, you'll have a personal academic tutor. So that person is your academic tutor for the 3 years while you're on the programme. And their role is to guide you through your academic progress, experiences, and look at the ambitions and where you want to go after graduation.
So we have a good balance of academic, practical and vocational knowledge, values and skills. And linking into what Helen talked about a moment ago, we are really about providing you with lots of current knowledge, to the point where, as Helen said, we've rewritten the program since the pandemic because that was so foundational to current health and social care practice. And we link all that modern theory to your practice environments. We look at interprofessional learning, which is around you looking at working with other people, because you will very rarely work on your own in a health and social care setting. You'll always have a situation where you need to interact with another person. And so we get you ready for that, because that is quite a daunting thing, to be sitting in a room with other professionals. And I'll talk about in a second how we do that. We always have up-to-date research, so every session we provide you with things that you can read to learn and understand the topic a bit more, as well as attending the sessions to talk about that research. And with the practice-based teaching, we really believe in you doing as health and social care. So we want to have you doing activities, having discussions, and just learning who you are as a professional, seeing you as a professional, which is something that is harder to see in an exam-based setting. So we want to focus on a practice-based teaching, and hopefully it will be enjoyable and stimulating for you. So, as I said, it's not all about essays. Health and social care is about you as a person. You need to learn that who you are as a professional, and you will do that through the learning on our program, through our teaching, and through the activities. So there are no exams on our program, but there are debates where you get to do a bit of that interprofessional working. You might have aspirations to be a certain professional, and your friend sitting next to you wants to be a different type of professional. So when you have those discussions, you're having interprofessional learning. And you'll see demonstrations. For example, we might have experts by experience or other professionals from the industry coming in, or we might just demonstrate some psychological techniques or some counselling techniques, something like that. You'll have role plays, which is essentially acting out a scenario in order to build your confidence. You do it in a safe environment with us, so when you go out into the real world, it feels a lot better. You're prepared, you're ready for that. We provide observation, so we'll give you feedback, we'll let you know how you can develop and what you're doing well. You have a lot of independent research on the program, and this is one of the great things about our program. You can focus where you want to, with it being that program where if you're not quite sure what you want to do, it's really great. Because say you want to focus on children, or you want to focus on people with disabilities, you can do that. You can shape your assignments and your learning and your reading around that. We have some students who want to go into social work with people with disabilities, so that's what they focused a lot of their assignments on. Others who are interested in working with children, so they focus their assignments on that. There's a lot of freedom, and it's one of the very rare things about our program. We're very supportive of that, and our team being so varied in our backgrounds means that there's always one of us to support you in the direction you're wanting to take career-wise. And we just get to know you, your personal academic tutor, and us as a whole team. We're really proud of how well we know our students, so we get to know you, we get to know your aspirations, and we'll direct you. We might set you up with somebody that can talk to that's aligned with the career you're going into. So looking more specifically at what you're going to be learning, we understand that starting university can be quite intimidating in terms of what you have to do. How do you even write essays? How do you do a presentation or some other assignment? So the first module that we have, which a module, if you're not familiar with that term, it's a set of teaching sessions on a particular topic. So that topic for us might be psychology, sociology in a nutshell. And your first set you do when you start with us, one of them is called Foundations of Learning, which is study skills, essentially. How you write, how you reference, how you deal with the scary things, and that we have to do in university because you're an academic as soon as you start with us. So that'll ease you into university life. And alongside that, you will be working with people in health and social care, which I'm the module leader for. So if you were with us in September, I'll see you there. And that is essentially looking at, as it says on the tin, communication skills. You look at yourself as a practitioner, and then you look at how you work with individual people. You look at how you work with their families, and how you work with other professionals, and essentially how the wider society impacts on our work with people. So I'm a counsellor by background, so we're bringing a lot of that into this module and getting you to have a go with some counselling skills. Again, just to give you that confidence of different scenarios, different situations. And while I'm with you on working with people, our colleague Rachel will be with you in social inequality, which is looking at people who are oppressed in society, whatever category they may come under, looking at the protected characteristics. So we'll be looking at why oppression happens, and how, as a health and social care practitioner, you might support fighting back with that. And understanding how sometimes we can contribute to we as a society, as professionals, can slip into contributing to some oppressive techniques, and how we stop ourselves from doing that. So it's a bit of a reflective process as well. And that module has a lot of guest lecturers on it, so you get to really see an insight of the different aspects of society. It's such a great module. And when you've finished that first semester, so that's the first 3 months, you'll have a bit of a break over the December, Christmas period, and then you'll come back, and the next the two modules are psychology, so psychological approach to human growth and development, looking from birth to death and the psychological processes along the life course and how that impacts the people we work with. So understanding people, basically. You've learned how to communicate with them, you've learned how they're oppressed, and now you're looking at what makes them tick, what makes them work. And then at the same time, you're studying sociology, which is social approaches to health and well-being. Colleague Nigel will be with you for that. And that is, as I say, sociology. So it's looking at all elements of society, from you in your house to how the government impacts us, and everything in between to what the impact a park makes on someone's well-being. It's such an intricate aspect of social care, and really important to understand that if a service user comes into you, or a patient, whatever term you want to use, for me I use client, but if someone's sitting in front of you and they're not happy today, and you might think they're angry with you, but looking at them sociologically and psychologically, you understand that it's everything that happened before they came into the meeting with you that's impacted them and made them feel not happy today. And how do you work with that? And those are the answers you're going to get from us. And then there is health perspectives, which Helen is a module leader on, so I'll ask Helen to talk a bit about that.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a module when we look at health and what that means, what it means to individuals. So you actually get to choose a health condition that you can study and research in depth. So that can be a physical health condition, or it can be a mental health condition. They're looking at some of the approaches and treatments that are used for people living with that condition, how that impacts their health and society, and why a holistic and a multidisciplinary team approach is important, and looking at some of the theories and legislations that relate to people living with those health conditions.
Okay, so you can see from all of that, just talking about the stage 1 modules, you're looking at communication, inequality, psychology, sociology, and health. It's such a full picture of health and social care, and why things happen, how things happen, and what to do with it. So when you've studied these topics, you really come away having an understanding of why people act and behave the way they do, how their health conditions influence this, how society responds and impacts their life, and importantly, how you, as a future practitioner, will respond for the people you're caring for. So at this point, you have that wonderful overview of health and social care. And so you'll finish your first year, you'll have a little break over the summer, and then you'll come back to stage 2. I'm not going to focus in too much detail about stage 2 and 3, but I just feel it's important to cover it a little bit so you have an idea of how we build the full picture. Because if you haven't got from me going over it repeatedly, we're really proud of how the program works as a whole. Everything links into each other. We all, as we're teaching, so as I'm going to be teaching, working with people, Rachel on social inequality, we'll be talking about each other's sessions and referencing them, and that's so you get that full picture. So now you understand how the sector works, how health and social care works. You start year 2 by looking at safeguarding adults, safeguarding children, and that is when you, well, exactly as it says, you look at some real life examples of when safeguarding and keeping people protected has failed, and what we've learned from those mistakes, because health and social care is about not being punitive, not being harsh when we make mistakes. It's about learning from those mistakes, and that learning is what informs much of the content on our program. So a lot more things will make sense from your first year when you do your safeguarding modules. And then once you're comfortable with the process of safeguarding, you are ready to go out on placement. And Helen's going to talk more about placement in a minute. But we don't just throw you out onto placement. We don't just say, there you go, bye. We have an entire module first year, a few months of teaching in a module called Preparation for Practice. And that's where you will learn different elements that might present themselves on placement. So if that feels a bit intimidating right now, going into there, if you know, maybe you've not worked before and this is the first time going into a social care setting, we look at elements like boundaries, professional, personal, further safeguarding elements, just getting you ready for being there, any scenario. And we really support you while you're out on placement. You have one of the teaching team will be available for you throughout the time, and you'll have someone on site. But I'm going too much into what Alan's going to talk about. So when you've been on placement, you're going to come back, and then, because you've got an understanding of what health and social care is. So now you look at research. Now you look at how our learning is created, and public health, which is, we all know public health. Any of the messaging you heard during the COVID, during the lockdowns, that was all public health campaigns. So you'll learn about that. And this is another area where the research and public health modules, where you really get to shine and go down the path that you are interested in. Because by this point, you're halfway through the program. You've had loads of meetings with your personal academic tutor. You've had career service come in and talk to you. You've been out on placement, so you've got an idea of what you like, what you don't like, which is just as important as what you like. And so these 2 modules in the second half of year 2, they're yours really to decide on the topics that you're going to focus on within public health and research. And that leads on to stage 3, which is really your year at this point. You have 2 modules which we call core modules, which you have to do. They're part of it. One of them is your second placement, but by this point you've already done a placement, so this is really comfortable for you, and you'll go somewhere interesting. And then you'll also do an independent study, which is just a project throughout the year, which again is yours. I can't tell you what that's going to be about because you decide it. You come up with a topic, and you will link it to where you want to be. But we will support you through it. You're given a supervisor, one of us again, who will talk you through it. And you'll have some taught sessions as well to help you deciding the topics, as well as looking at some examples of previous years. And then you get to choose optional modules. So you might be interested in going into management. You might have your eye on you currently might be working in a care home, and you might have your eye on the senior position in the care home. So you might want to go on a managing services. You might want to start your own health and social care organisation. We've had a student who's just graduated from us, and they've opening up a children's care home, and they got the experience and the knowledge of that from doing the managing services module. We had people go straight into management. You might be more interested in the one-on-one elements of it. So you might be interested in learning some counselling perspectives, which is where we look at different counselling models and, again, more advanced counselling skills that you can use within the sector. You might be having a more medical focus, or just psychological focus. So the impact of living with long-term health conditions is a really great module. And as it says on the title, it looks at not just the causes and everything that we discussed from the stage 1, but what does that mean for the person throughout their life course? How does that really impact them? And that's really significant because, people live a lot longer these days and they have more conditions, and that's going to be a very significant trend within our society. It already is, but it will get more so as time goes on. Or you might be interested in going into topic of substance misuse, which is looking at alcohol, drugs, and any other addictions which could be impacting someone in society. So you really have in the 3rd year the chance to define your own path, whether that's a leadership role, small one-on-one, and as I said before, the focus is your choice. Children, adults, anything really, as long as it's social care related. It's such a lot of freedom on this. And that's what we love. It keeps it interesting for us, really interesting, because when we do your independent study, when you do your other modules, your placements, we get to really see you shine at this point, and it's wonderful. We love reading your assignments at this point because they're all different. No one person's the same. Okay, so Helen's going to talk a little bit about placements now.
Thanks, Carl. Okay, so as part of the programme then, you'll undertake 2 placements. So as Carl's already said, one is in stage 2, so year 2, and the other one is in year 3. So that first placement in year 2 gives you a chance to experience the world of health and social care, get a feel for it, see what's happening. And the one in year 3 is more geared towards, hopefully by this point you've some idea of what area of the sector that you'd like to go into. So we try and give you a placement that fits where you'd like to end up postgraduate. So we've got strong links within the industry, within the sector. So we spend a lot of time sourcing placements, talking to placements. So students have got an exciting opportunity. So you'll go out on placement with all the knowledge that you've learned in stage 1 and in stage 2, and take that and put it into practice. So making a positive impact on real people in the field of health and social care. As I've already said, it gives you that opportunity to explore what you'd like to do. So you might go out on placement thinking you'd like to work with older adults. While you're out on placement, think actually this isn't the field that I'd like to specialise in. So that's one of the benefits of the programme, that it gives you the chance to experience different areas of health and social care. While you're out on placement, as Carl's already said, you'll have somebody from the university who's your mentor for that period of time, and we also make sure that you've got an experienced mentor within the placement setting, so you've got those 2 people supporting you while you're out in that environment. Thanks, Carl. So these are some of the comments that we've picked up from our students. So Phil says the placement allowed me to feel more confident going to a new workplace and doing something new. Hannah said the placement experience taught me how to adapt and develop learning with adolescents who have a range of learning disabilities and needs. This has helped me build my confidence and assertiveness. Cherise says I identified and overcame personal bias and discrimination that previous to the placement experience I didn't know I held. And Kate said that the placement gave her the experience of working and being part of a community, making small changes and being able to be resilient around my own development. So as you can see, the placements don't just give students that experience, it allows them to sort of experience things for themselves and learn a little bit about themselves as well. Okay, so I just want to move on to talk to you about where your degree will take you. So look at graduate outcomes, career opportunities, career support, and further study that you might go on to once you've graduated from the health and social care degree. So our graduate outcomes and career opportunities is really important, and they're monitored. We look where our students are going. We try and help them to find jobs. We work really closely with the careers team at the university. But our students go off to local authority to work in local authorities, within the NHS, to multi-agency teams working with children, young people and adults. They go off to work with people who are homeless and social housing services, as well as refugee and asylum seeking support agencies. Some go to work with adults and do advocacy work. Some go off to work in public health and health promotion services. Some students go into community health teams, intensive family support teams. So there's lots of areas there, as well as residential and nursing care management. As Carl's already said, then some of our students go straight off to be managers, so working with commission and care management teams, as well as care coordinator management. And that's just a short list really of where our students go. And some examples, our third years have just gone out onto placement, and I think 3 of us within the teaching team have actually seen our students from a couple of years ago who are now working within those settings. So they're being mentors to our students on the programme, which is lovely for us to see. So I've already said about the ongoing career support. So right from day one, then we work with the careers team. So they come into sessions, deliver sessions, thinking about how you'll develop your professional and interpersonal skills. They will work with you to look what employers are looking for, things such as problem solving, communication, etc. And this happens across all stages of the programme. So during year 1, during year 2, and during year 3. And obviously that changes as you progress through the years. So the work you're doing in year 1 will be building up to thinking about interview techniques and applications which are done in year 3. So they're embedded into the programme, they're part of the programme, but they're also there for you to access as well on your own if you want to. And your personal academic tutor will be able to support you if that's what you want to do. And once you've graduated, then that service is still yours to use for up to 3 years after you've actually completed your studies at the university. So we've talked about some of the jobs that our students go off to do, but some of our students as well, once they've graduated with the BA Health and Social Care, will go on to do further study. So they might go off to do masters in nursing, occupational therapy, radiography, education. So that might be primary education, secondary education, further education, or indeed higher education as well. Lots of our students go off to do a masters in social work. Some move on to youth work, counselling, and lots more as well. We've also new exciting programmes at the university in physiotherapy, operating department practice. So yeah, there's lots of routes for you to go on to. And as we've already alluded to, if you're not sure now, then you've got the time on the programme to make that informed decision. So this slide has just got my email address up there and Carl's as well. So if you've got any questions following this, then please drop either or both of us an email. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have. There's no such thing as a silly question, or please don't feel you can't ask us. It's absolutely fine. You might also want to think about coming to our open days at the university, when somebody from the team will be there to meet you, and you can say that you joined the webinar. So the next one is on Friday the 20th of June, and then there's one on Saturday the 21st of June, and you can book via the website onto either one of those.
Amazing. Thank you, Helen. So I think while we've been talking, we've had some questions come through in the chat. I think Screen's going to read them out to us.
Yeah, so the first question is, what if I don't meet the requirements for the programme?
Shall I take that question?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay. So if you don't meet the requirements for the programme, then please get in touch with us, and we can look at each applicant's details and advise you accordingly. So as I've said, we do welcome students onto the programme with experience. So if you've been working in the field of health and social care, then do get in touch with us. We can look at that application in detail, perhaps advise you of anything else you need to do, and look at some alternatives for you. So don't just think you haven't met that criteria. Please drop us an email.
Thank you, Helen. And the second question is, I've not been accepted onto social work. Is this programme a good alternative for me?
Shall I take this one? So yes is a direct answer to that. I think I've talked about how we cover elements of society and safeguarding. We have a lot of cross content with social work, and we invite some of the social work team into our sessions, and we have a social worker on our team as well. So if that's something you want to do and you haven't been able to get onto the social work course directly, we'll build your knowledge, skills and values in order for you to do that, to progress onto the master's programme or an apprenticeship in social work. And we have that. Quite a few of our students do that. A lot went on to social work just this year. So yes, absolutely. So it's a great alternative. And we do sometimes get the feedback, we often get the feedback that the students that do our program and then go on to the Masters in Social Work are often stronger on the Masters in Social Work because of the extra things they've learnt along the way to get them ready for the pure social work content.
Thank you.
Can I just add to that as well? Sorry to Kane, that the social work program is within our discipline, so we have strong links with the social work team as well, so can support your application with that.
Thank you. And I have another question here. So I want to become a primary school teacher. Is there something I can pursue after my degree? If I came on your course, what skills would I learn to help me with this?
Helen, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so absolutely. So lots of our students go on to do either a Master's in Education or they do a postgraduate certificate in education. So that can be in primary education, secondary education, or in further education. Again, we've got strong links with that team, and our students are welcomed onto those programs. If that's what you're thinking that you'd like to do, then we could certainly look at making sure that your placement in the third year will give you some of those skills that you've got. And I think all of our modules, thinking about the safeguarding modules, the sociology, the psychology modules, then they'll all be building up those skills ready for you to take out if that's the career that you want to pursue.
Thank you. I have two questions here that are related. So can you tell me more about placement? And I don't have a car, so how will I get onto placement?
Do you want to cover that one? I think she talked about
Yeah.
placements.
Okay, yeah. So as part of the placement process, then you fill in an application form. You give us lots of information about where you think your interest might be, if you've got any previous experience that's relevant. Remembering that can be if you've worked in a shop, then you've quite commonly dealt with customers who have got issues or who are cross or who are upset. So any skills that you've got, you can tell us about, and then we match them to the placement as part of that process. We try and make your placement as near to your term time address as we possibly can. So we wouldn't expect you to travel miles and miles, especially if you didn't have a car. If there was something very specific that you wanted to do, then we'd discuss how that might be possible. So say if you lived in Derby and there was a placement in Nottingham, then we'd look, how could you get to that placement? Could you afford to get to that placement, etc.? So there'd be no pressure to travel lots and lots of miles.
Thank you, Helen. And the final question, I'm a wheelchair user. Will I be able to get on the programme? I'm also worried about whether I will be able to go on placement.
Shall I take that one? So our university is accessible. We've had wheelchair users on the programme before and do currently as well. So my best advice for you with that one would be to come to an open day, because I can say it's accessible for other people, but you decide whether it's accessible for you. See how you feel navigating around the university, and if it feels okay. We do work with everybody's requirements. That's something I'm really proud of. We in health and social care, we've all been through things, and we've all worked with various different types of people. So we like to think we follow that through to the classroom as well. In regards to placements, we will again look to find somewhere that's suitable. We'll talk with you, we'll see what your requirements are, and then find the best place for you. We may have to have a couple of extra conversations to make sure that happens and make sure you're safe, but it's definitely something that we will accommodate, because as well, like I said, the places, like Helen's talked about, the places you're going, it's all health and social care, so it's a sector that should be understanding, so we're proud of that. Do you have anything else to add to that, Helen, for placement wise?
No, I don't think there is. We wouldn't see it as being an issue. It's just something that we put some time into.
Yeah, very, very well put. Yeah. it's you, and we welcome you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That concludes our webinar. We hope you enjoyed, and thank you very much for listening and watching.
Thanks everyone, and take care.
Thank you. Thank you.